Barefoot shoes seem to really be blowing up right now, and I've been using them for about 4 years. Exclusively, I've been using Vivo. I've tried a few other brands here and there, but pretty much all Vivo. And I wanted to make a video that was no BS, no marketing, none of that crap. It just was a straight up honest opinion about what it's like to wear these day to day for a long period of time. The benefits, the disadvantages, all that stuff. So, to get into it, the reason I started wearing these in the first place was I needed wider shoes. Initially, what I started out with, and this was probably about 6 to 7 years ago, or if not longer, I started wearing the Ultra running shoes. The hype that they were known for was that they were wide and that they were zero drop. I didn't really care about the zero drop as much, even though I benefited a lot from it after. But what I was looking for was the wide toe box, and it didn't disappoint. I wore these ugly, I'll throw them up on screen right now if I can find them, these ugly sock-like shoes that were just incredibly comfortable. They were super wide and they were zero drop. I wore them every day. I bought 2 pair. I ended up wearing those things for like 3-4 years, and that was until I wore those up until I switched to these Vivo shoes. The benefits I got from the Ultras were pretty quick. I mean, the splayed toe, that wide toe box that lets your toes open up and splay inside of the shoe was huge. And then the zero drop, almost immediately, my Achilles and then my calf, I could tell that was being way more engaged. My Achilles was stretching, my calf was getting stronger. I could tell that almost immediately. And then after about a month or whatever, it went away. And then the only time I really notice it is when I'm doing some hiking and you're going uphill and your heels are way further down than they're used to in a regular pair of shoes where you have several millimeters of heel lift in the shoes. After wearing those and wanting to switch to something more barefoot, because I started buying into the market just like everybody else, you know, you're seeing all these ads like it's going to fix this, it's going to do that, your back, your feet, they claim to do so many different things. And so I bought into it. The reason I went with the Vivo brand straight up was for looks. I wore those ugly Ultras for a long time, and I had their Ultra Lone Peak hiking shoes, and I loved those. I wore those into the ground. I mean, all the lugs were gone, and I was sad when I had to see those go. But I switched to these Vivo barefoot shoes because of the branding and the style of the shoes. These were the first ones that I started with. These are the Primus Asanya, and if I get any of these names wrong, you'll have to forgive me. They are awesome. They are the lightest, thinnest sole of the bunch. Quickly after buying these, I bought the Primus Trails, and these at first, they were hard to actually get the right size. They were causing me some issues just because of this weird kind of rubber stuff that they have on the outside. It's supposed to be white, but you can see now that it's starting to turn yellow from the sun and just from being used. But the issue that I ran into early on was right where this toe bends. This piece right here was digging into my foot. I'll get into a little bit later, but the company was really good about working with me to get these ones, which are a size bigger than what I normally wear, but they don't dig into my foot and they don't do anything weird any longer. After having these, because they have the lugs and stuff, and they're a little bit heavier, they're a little bit thicker, I wanted something that I could do, go to the gym in, and so I ended up choosing these are like their basic. I think these were their very first ones. This was like what they were known for from the beginning. These are the Primus Lights, and they're the same. I mean, they're the exact same as these. Same sole, same everything, just a different style on top. They're a lot lighter just because of the different materials that are used. And then the final thing I went with was because these weren't enough, right? That's how it goes with all this kind of stuff. You're just looking, you need a little bit extra, a little bit different. Anyways, I wanted a hardcore hiking shoe, and so I ended up going with these. These are the Magnus. They have different versions of each. Like you'll notice these all have the same name, but then they just sort of change things a little bit here and there. These are the Magnus. They are awesome. They're just I mean, this is full-blown leather. These lugs are huge, made by Michelin. I mean, they are hardcore hiking shoes. Barefoot at the same time, you definitely feel what you're walking on. If anybody tells you that the pain goes away, that your feet build up and they get stronger and that you don't feel it anymore, it's not true. Now, there's a caveat. My feet are substantially stronger than when I first started. From the Ultras all the way to now, I can go further and do more and do all the stuff. My feet for sure are stronger. They for sure are more flexible. They are, I mean, these shoes, that's just the whole ad, right? They move, they bend, your feet bend, they do all the stuff. And so my feet have gotten more flexible. My toes are wider. There's really no getting around it. Wearing a pair of barefoot shoes for a long period of time throughout the day, your feet will start to hurt. As far as the look of these shoes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So you might like them, someone else might not. I like them. I think that they're good looking shoes. I don't think they're anything spectacular. They look like what they are, barefoot shoes, sort of elfy, you know, and they look fine to me, but that's coming from somebody that wore basically socks for several years. The build quality of the shoes is solid. It's good. Like I said, I had some issues with these. The sole doesn't come up. Everything is glued and sewed on really well. The magnets, I mean, the quality goes up with the price of the shoe, which is, I mean, kind of dumb to say, but it just is the facts, which is these magnets are just top tier. I mean, every little thing has been thought about, from the shoelace design to the inside. Everything is just awesome about these shoes specifically. You can tell that they have a little bit more love put into them than something like the Primus Lite. The company has been awesome. So they're based out of London, and they ship their stuff, at least when I was buying. I haven't bought a pair for a little while. These are like the older generations. I think they're, with like this style, I think that they're up to like the third generation, and these were the originals. And same with these, they're past. And so these are older. So these are all older shoes. And when I was buying them, they took forever to get here because they were being sent overseas, and they have been so good. I have bought other pairs that I didn't like, that I returned back, or different styles or whatever, and they were always really good about having them sent back and being really communicative about what was happening and where things were going. And there was one time with these ones specifically, with that issue where it was digging into my foot, I called them, and it was some guy. It sounded like he just was in his house, and I talked to him about it for a minute. I was like, hey, this is the issue I'm having. Like, it was a very like real and personable conversation. It was like I was sort of talking with a friend. And then none of this is sponsored, by the way. This is just me talking about these shoes and my experience with them. And he was just like straight up like, hey, you could try this, you could try that. You know, send them. He even said like, send them back if they're causing you too many issues. You know, we'll try this. And I said, will it help if I size up? And he goes, I don't know, maybe you could try it. And that's what I ended up doing, and it did work. But so the customer service and the company as a whole is awesome, and they have been really good helping me find the shoes that I want. So kind of my overall experience with barefoot shoes in general is that my life is not changed from wearing these shoes. They claim to do a lot of things, and I think that they do some of them, and they don't for others. I think it depends a lot on the individual, what they're going to do for you. For me, like I've already mentioned, my toes are wider for sure. They're wider enough now that wearing regular shoes is a problem, that it's crunching up my feet. Like I said before, my Achilles, my calf, stronger, my feet more flexible, my feet in general, more strength. They can endure and handle more of a beating than they could before, but your feet just don't become indestructible. Your feet don't become shoes, right? I think that's maybe what I bought into a little bit, was that if I wore these long enough, then I could just essentially be barefoot, and everything would, my foot would be strong enough, right? Like the olden days, like human beings from the very beginning. And that's kind of what they're selling. And that's just not true. I mean, I took these, I should have cleaned these. I didn't. I just literally got done with a long hike, and I will clean these. There's a video right here that you can watch of how to clean a leather boot, how to clean these shoes specifically. But after the hike was not over, like after I was done with the first half up to the top of the mountain, on the way down, I was like, oh crap, like my feet are already hurting. And that's after 4 years dedicated barefoot shoes for everything. And my feet, I mean, they just start to hurt. So if you think that you're just going to be able to handle it, you can't. And even now, if I go backpacking, I still have a pair of really cushy Ultra Olympic I think is the name of the shoe. And I will wear those. If I know that I'm going on a really long hike with a lot of load, I will put those on instead of these because I know that my feet won't be able to handle it and I'll be in a bad place otherwise. But for just regular day hikes, these are always my go-to. Regular stuff, these are always my go-to. But they're not going to solve all those issues. They're not cheap shoes, but I do think that what they're asking is completely fair. They range anywhere between around $160 to $280. But they're so, the materials that they're using, the quality, the thought that goes into each product is top tier. I mean, everything is ethically sourced and everything is just put so much thought into everything that they do, and they are very forward thinking. So the price that they're asking for the quality that you're getting is totally there. I have tried like their Zero, not Vivo Zero, but the Zero branded shoe. I didn't like the look of them, and they did not have as wide of a toe box for me anyways. And so I have just stuck with Vivo, and I did not like Zero's customer service. When I tried to return the shoes, it was a whole thing, and it was difficult to get my money back, and they were not worn. I mean, they weren't like worn outside of my house on the carpet, and they gave me all kinds of problems. And Vivo Barefoot has given me none of that. They've been nothing but helpful. Are Barefoot shoes for you? You'll have to figure that out for yourself. But if you do go barefoot, the Vivo Barefoot brand is an excellent choice. They are an awesome company that takes care of their customers. Their shoes are high quality. They are comfortable. They are well thought out, well engineered. As always, there's a follow-up video that I'll make to this one, answering any and all of your questions. Just head on over to patreon.com/Austin Kohler. That's me. And you can write any questions. I answer those questions in a follow-up video. And if you have anything else you want to say, leave a comment down here on YouTube. That's it for this video. Hopefully you took something from it. Thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate you. Have a great day. See ya.